Welcome to the Enchanted Sanctuary, the podcast for women ready to explore self-discovery and spiritual growth. Whether it's mastering your mindset, exploring energy work, or tapping into your intuition, this podcast is your go-to toolbox for spiritual and inner work. Think of it as a cozy chat with friends, where we celebrate the magic of growth and the beauty of becoming your true self. Each week, I'll talk with amazing women who share their personal journeys and the tools they've discovered to inspire and empower others. So if you're ready to embrace your path, discover new tools, and feel inspired, hit subscribe and join me in Enchanted Sanctuary. Hi, it's Nikki here and welcome back to the Sanctuary. And today I have Victoria with me. And we were just talking just before pressing record about where, how we met. And we worked out, it's probably about 4 years ago, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think our first call. Yeah.
Yeah. And we haven't spoken since that moment. So we've just been having this mad chat just before. I thought, no, we've got to get it all on podcast because Victoria's got so much to share. So tell us a little bit about your spiritual journey and to where you are now.
Right. Yeah. Well, I've been thinking about, what's the essence that I want to try and get across. And my life's journey up to this point, I've gained a lot of knowledge and wisdom. I've done a lot of healing. And I've come to a point where I feel that I'm sort of bringing everything together to now help other people. But my journey, well, first of all, I'm Irish. I was born in Dublin. So I'll just talk a little bit about my journey. Up until the age of 25, I'd lived in 5 different countries. So I'd lived in Ireland, in this order, Ireland, Malaysia, England, France, and Australia. So that's been great. I've had lots of lovely, and I've done lots of lovely adventure holidays. When I was growing up, I always felt different. I always felt like I didn't really belong anywhere. I've decided that I kind of belong nowhere but fit in everywhere. That makes sense.
Yes.
I've always been into alternatives. I've always believed in reincarnation, and I've been walking a spiritual path. I woke up in 1996 when I was 32, and that began through learning to use a pendulum. I learned to dowse with a pendulum, and that sort of opened something up. I've had a sort of 30-year office career. My original training was bilingual secretarial with French and Spanish. And that took me into some really interesting jobs, including 10 years in London, 5 years working in the City of London. And so I've been basically working in the matrix. But what I've realised is I had to work in the matrix to break out of the matrix. So I've been very much a kind of a spiritual being on a spiritual path of spiritual awakening while working in the matrix, and the two don't really go together. So I've been a bit of a rebel. I feel like I'm a rebel. I've been a rebel in the matrix, and now I have broken out of the matrix. Still a few threads to break, but I've been on a journey of sort of self-discovery, finding myself. So I left London in 96, and then moved around England with different jobs. And then I was in Bristol, moved to Bristol in. That's right. I was in 1996 when my spiritual awakening started. I was actually living in Staffordshire. And I moved to Derby, and I started. Had a reading, a sort of psychic reading, and that sort of. I was opening up when I was living in Derby in 96, 97, 98. I was beginning to open up spiritually, and I joined the Celestine Prophecy Group, and met lots of interesting people, mediums, met lots of people, and it was like an introduction to a lot of different healing modalities, crystals, and then from there I moved down to Somerset for a while, where I met a group of people, and we were channeling. We'd sit in a circle and channel our guides, and our guides would all talk to themselves. And then I moved up to Bristol in the end of 1999, and in the year 2000, I did a 1-year hypnotherapy course. It was a diploma course, and I did it initially for my own self-development. But what I then discovered was, together with my natural interest in reincarnation, combined with the hypnotherapy sort of healing techniques, I then started giving past life regressions to people who asked me, just sort of colleagues at work and that kind of thing. And that started me off on my sort of past life regression journey. So I would give regressions to other people, and then I also started to do them with myself. So I've also been on a journey where I've been learning about my own past lives in this lifetime. Well, my own past lives. And I've had a lot of past lives in France and lots of different countries. And it's been interesting. The reason why I've wanted to look at my past lives is to help me understand my current life, help me to see patterns. And cycles, and I've done a lot of shadow work, inner child work. So I left Bristol, moved to Winchester, spent 16 years living in Winchester, and I was very much in the what I call the sort of on a roller, on the mill, working, and the treadmill. And then I had in when was it? It was in 2015. I started a new relationship, which turned out to be a very challenging relationship, to be nice about it. And growing up, I'd always had a very strong feeling that later in life I would move to France. It was almost like an internal knowing that later in life I would live in France. And so between about sort of 2015 and 2018, I just had this strong urge that France was calling me. And then eventually the relationship ended, and I decided to throw everything up in the air. So I sold my house in Winchester, and I jumped on a plane to Bergerac. And I kind of already knew roughly where I knew I wanted to be in the southwest of France, Dordogne area, but apart from that I didn't know exactly. So this was end of 2019. I started house hunting and found my house, the house that I'm in today, within about 6 weeks. And I was just being guided. It was like my spirit team, my soul were just guiding me around, and I was just doing the legwork, and they were telling me where to go. And so I found this house, and instantly I got the feeling I was looking for. So I bought it. I moved into it at the end of Feb 2020, so exactly 5 years ago, just before the first lockdown. So I literally had 2.5 weeks in the house before the first lockdown started.
That's incredible, because at the same time, I mean, we were just talking about this, how me and Victoria is so connected, and she knows we've got both our past lives together. But I moved at exactly the same time into a house just before lockdown. I was guided into. Quite interesting.
Yes, it is. And that then sort of slowed down my renovation plans. So I've been in the house now for 5 years. I spent the first 3 years just modernising the house, putting in, upgrading the bathrooms, creating a kitchen, making it habitable, because my plan was that I would create a place where I could do B&B, I could do Airbnb, I could have activities, and I could run little retreats. But first and foremost, it's my home with spaces. So for the last 2 years, I've been starting to work more with the activities. So last year I had a short yoga course running, and I had some sort of weekend workshops. Reached out and met local therapists. It's a lovely lady who does sound baths with her big gongs. Another lady who does yoga with sound. So I started doing that a little bit last year. I've done a little bit of Airbnb. I've had lots of family and friends staying, and I've been kind of feeling that it's like being here. I've these 5 years here have also on another level been. I've been on a healing journey. I've been in isolation mode. I've been in hermit mode, and I can see now that it was all very much destined to be that way, because I needed to heal from past relationships in this life and past lives, and I've really got to know myself really, really well. I think I know myself today. I feel I'm very much working from my authentic self, and I've done an awful lot of healing and just self-discovery, learning about myself. So I've reached the point now where I want to bring everything together, bring all my wisdom together, and really another dream that I've got now is to develop my own healing business. So that's where I'm at now. So
as your retreat, so this is the sanctuary, and it's quite interesting that you've called it the sanctuary, which is also the same name as my podcast. There's you have a lot of crosses, paths going
it is. It's a sanctuary. It's a healing space. It's a haven. It's a sanctuary. On my social media, I call it Victoria's French Retreat, all one word. And in May last year, May 24, I felt a need to start writing, and I started writing what I'm calling my story on Instagram. So a lot of what I've just been talking about is a lot more detailed on my Instagram at Victoria's French Retreat. So.
And you're also on Substack, aren't you, as well?
Yes, I've very recently joined Substack because there's something in me now. It's almost like I want to express my truth. I want to write. I want to share what I've learned in order to help other people. And that started with writing. But what I found with Instagram is the posts are limited, and I wanted to be able to write longer posts. Yes. So I've recently joined Substack just about last month. And I'm starting to write on there I'm calling myself on there the spiritual therapist, which was a name that actually came to me last night, and I changed the name on my Substack because I see myself as a therapist, but more spiritually oriented.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's kind of very holistic. So if I was like sitting down with someone and we had a 2-hour session, there's so many different things I could bring into that session. But I would, and I'm a very intuitive healer, so I would decide what's needed and work with my guides and their guides during the session to work out the best way to help people.
So is that just like with the past life regression, or are you talking about other therapies as well that you offer?
As well, others. So the past life regression, I would say, is the main modality that I offer and have been working with. But I've got another one developing that I'm calling sort of deep dive. It's more of a conversation. It's more of a deep dive conversation where I peel back the layers of an issue to try and get to the very core of the issue that the person has. Which, in a way, that the hypnotherapy, the past life regression, and that is quite linked, because with the hypnotherapy and the past life regression, it's getting to the core, it's going to the source of whatever issue is, but the subconscious leads the session.
Yeah.
And even with a deep dive sort of conversation, that I could incorporate some visualizations, some hypnotherapy techniques with that. So that's just something on the side that I'm just sort of starting to want to develop.
So with the past life regression, how do people benefit from learning about their past lives?
It's a big question.
Or why the clients come to you? Maybe that's another way to start. Is it just out of curiosity?
It could be two reasons. It could be simple curiosity, or it could be an issue that they have that they can't find an answer to. So the medical profession can't find the source of a physical issue. So yes, it would be to look at a particular issue, which could be a physical issue, or it could be an emotional issue. You know, could be mental. Whatever issue, could be sort of a repeating pattern. And the source, I mean, we're all energy, and you know, they say that, you know, time doesn't exist, and in fact the energy of the soul exists in other lives at the same time as the current life. So whatever current life we're living, if something hasn't healed from a past life, we're going to be carrying it with us. So
Yes.
at any time we can heal past lives and future lives. I mean, you know, it's called past life regression because that's what people recognize. But I like to think of it as other life regression, because
Yes.
it can be past lives and it can be future lives, because time is just one big bubble.
It's interesting that, because I remember one time talking about this and what comes up in my emotion code sessions, which I go to in a minute. But I was shown an image of like a mesh, like a net, and where the threads cross, that is a life. So it's all happening at the same time.
Yeah.
And the threads that go between one cross and the next, that is where you get the infiltrations. Like, you know, for example, herbal witch, you know, so that thread coming through there in this life is, oh yeah, no, I'm really interested in essential oils, in herbs, because that energy is coming through. So all those lives are all happening at once, creating this whole mesh, but it's all interconnected.
Yeah.
And what you were saying about, you know, how if you don't heal something, it kind of comes back. I know that when I do my emotion code sessions, that's when I am identifying emotions from past parallel other life. I'm then given an image, and it's almost like remote viewing. So I'm right there in person, because sometimes I remember one time I was given an image of like this child, like almost like this medieval marketplace, almost like witch hunt type of feeling.
Yeah.
And this girl just suddenly turned around and looked at me and went, stuck her tongue out at me. And it's like, oh my God, she knows I'm here. So I knew that I was actually looking into something that was probably happening. And that has happened a few times where I'm actually having the reaction. And it's often children. They'll kind of look at me. Adults don't, but the children will. So they're very aware that I'm looking into a life. And that's kind of like, oh my goodness.
That's amazing. I've not heard that before. That's a gift. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm then given this image, and it'll be, I tend to describe it as like a theatre play, same play, different scenery. So that the same emotions are coming up, but it's played out in a different way in this life. So that they'll come with a certain issue, and we'll be working on that. But then I'm getting built another situation, thinking I'm picking up the whole emotion. So I get the image, but then I'm getting this whole feeling of the whole emotion, everything's going on around this scene. What's happening? Why is happening? What's the emotion of the person? How is that playing out? And then seeing the karmic cycle. And then, so by releasing the emotions from that moment, I'm actually changing the timeline, so that is no longer having an effect on this life right now.
Yeah. So interesting, isn't it?
Oh, completely.
I mean, and also, you know, they say that, you know, it's the third dimension that creates the timeline, because when we live in the third dimension, we need the timeline, but other dimensions don't need it. You know,
no.
Other dimensions are different, and it's like we need to be able to measure. It's probably, you know, the lower, heavier dimensions, the physical dimensions need measurement.
Because we need it's almost like that anchoring as a space and a time.
Uh-huh.
And just thinking as well that when I'm releasing these emotions, quite interested as well for you for the past life regression, that sometimes I'm seeing as feeling the emotions from when that person has just died. So just after that moment, and they're almost, I've now called it the decompression chamber, because that's what it feels like. They can see out onto the life they've just left and how it's affected them. And then they're having to stay in this decompression chamber. This is all kind of like, almost like analogies, if you want. But they're in this place where they're having to let go of these really heavy emotions, because that trauma has weighed so much that they cannot move on to spirit world until they've released. So they're in this decompression to release all these emotions, is what I'm picking up. And then at the other end, with the emotion code of seeing it like a waiting room. So once they decided what's going to be played out in this life, and suddenly they're waiting to go into being born, and it's like, oh fuck, why did I decide that? Oh my God, I remember what life is like on Earth. I don't want to be doing this. And then you get all these emotions coming up, like I don't want to go, and then they realise then that that's why they were probably late in being born, or being born with forceps or the resistance, because I don't want to go.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting you talking about the past lives, and then seeing where these bits fit in as well.
Yeah. It's all one big energetic bubble at the end of the day. But the mind is so powerful that the mind can focus on our current reality.
Yes. Yeah. And that I think that's what's the fascinating bit about, other parallel lives, is that everything, all these other lives are happening at once, but we're conscious in this life right now.
Yes.
And it's when I talk to people, that when you've got like deep desires, like we're saying, like the herbal, like we both have essential oils, that is probably coming out because we're as a herbal witch in another life, and that infiltration is coming through. So how it's all connected.
Yeah. Yes, I know. I've had lots of lives where I've been picking herbs in the hills and drying them, and being the local medicine sage woman, and being hunted down for it and having to do it all in secret, and
Yes. Yeah, I remember what I can still see it now. This life of, I was in almost like this stone building, and I can see in front of me like a worktop just covered in all sorts of bottles, herbs, or whatever. And I was dressed in like this very almost like a cloth Hessian dress type thing, very very simple. Got goosebumps right now. Somebody had come into the door, and I had a mortar and pestle in my hand, and I was like giving them herbs. And I still see like the mortar and pestle, this little child next to me, like hanging on to my apron strings. But yeah, that's given me
Yes.
We've both had lots. And
I think I've had so many lives where I've been hunted down and told to stop, and I wouldn't.
Defiant, yes.
Yeah, it's the rebel in me. It's like, no, go away. I'm going to carry on picking my herbs and healing people, and actually get hauled up to court for it. Accused of being a witch, and then that's it, gone.
And I feel like as I said, we were talking about what's happening right now, and how during lockdown I was given this time we stand, and I think that's so true for so many healers, like we're saying, that we were killed, or we happening right now in other lives. That this time is a time that we've come. That was all just practice runs for what we're going through now.
Yes, exactly. That's what I feel. I feel that all my lifetimes have brought me to where I am today, to deal with what's going on.
Yeah.
And in order to help others. I often see myself as the ground crew, as the kind of the advance party.
Yes.
Going through the ascension process, dealing with the ascension. And there's lots of people behind me, coming up behind, who are going to want help over the coming years. As we move into the new earth, they're going to need help.
And that's why I've created this podcast and, getting people
Good.
like you on here, because these people who are beginning to wake up because, of what is going on, people are beginning to wake up spiritually in so many ways that, like when we were going through it, oh my God, how can I deal with it? This emotion is coming up. What tool have I got? How can I help with this? So then, have a little repertoire of, okay, I need past life regression. Well, let's go back to that podcast and find out about Victoria and then, contact with you.
Yep.
Yeah, I think there really is going to be a lot of people who are going to quite suddenly wake up. I think it's going to be much quicker this time.
Yep.
And it's going to be like, oh my God, I've been slapped awake.
Yeah. I mean, I still, I see myself as a transmuter of energy and emotions. And most mornings I wake up and my sacral chakra is just churning. And I just think, okay, and what I've learned is you need to feel it to release it. So
Yes.
I know that, it's clearing. It's past life stuff that's clearing that has to come up and out. And it's, all the ascension energies that are forcing this purge. It's purging right now. Do
you follow the Schumann resonance at all?
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
It's going manic at the minute.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, they were saying about a lot of dark energy, and I kind of felt that as the dark energy that we're releasing. There's a mass release of that.
Yes. It's been going on, I would say, for the last 2-3 years. I've been transmuting the Earth's dark energies. And it's, it will, it's going to continue. But I think another thing about this period of sort of isolation mode while I've been here is I've been ascending. So I've been going through all those ascension symptoms triggered by the Schumann resonance, the sun, the storms, the photons. And that's another reason why I've been placed here in isolation mode, is so that I can go through my ascension journey. Over the last 3 years, there have been so many occasions where I just get head pressure and I have to go and lie down. I can lie down for half an hour, revive myself, and then I'm up again. I think there have been 2 occasions in the last 3 years maybe 2 years, where I've actually been in bed for about 2-3 days with the ascension symptoms.
I was going to say, so how are they showing up for you? Because people listening think, oh, what were ascension symptoms?
Fatigue, just general body fatigue, head pressure. For me, I feel I've got this background noise. It doesn't hurt, but it's almost like a high frequency sound in my head that goes up and down in waves, which is responding to the photons that the sun's putting out. So I've got background sound, I get head pressure. I can always tell, I always feel when the sun's sending out strong, CMEs, eruptions. And then I go and look at the Schumann resonance, and then it confirms what I'm feeling. It's like I think 2 days ago, there was a massive, you see that big line on it?
Yes. Well, that's when twice I've been knocked out on the Schumann resonance. The same thing. I mean, there's been, it was Tuesday this week and Tuesday last week. I went to sleep, thought, all right, just have a little power nap in the afternoon, knocked out for an hour and a half. But it wasn't a normal sleep. I felt absolutely drugged. And trying to come back into trying to wake up, felt like I was having to come back into my body, back into this world.
Oh, okay.
And they said, and that both of those occasions when I had a look, that, oh my God, the black line, timeline shift.
Yes, timeline shifting. Yeah.
So I was having that massive timeline shift. I had to be pulled back into this life, thinking, oh my God, I've got to get back in my body.
Yes. It's a journey, isn't it? It really is. It's a roller coaster of a journey, which is actually, it's a good thing that it's happening, because it's upgrading our physical beings. Basically what's happening is our bodies are becoming more crystalline and less carbon, which means that our bodies are becoming lighter. which means that we're releasing toxins, and it's a process.
It is.
I mean,
think
I know
that's
so many people, sorry, who don't feel anything yet.
Yet. And I think that's where the suddenness can come on, because, we're obviously leading the way and kind of like feeling it all. I think the next wave is going to be a lot more sudden, and it's kind of like, what's happening, because it's going to be like catch up time. And I think times as well when we feel really tired, like knocked out and in bed for 3 days, our body has to catch up, because you've got the energetic spirit that's already going, already ascending. The body, they both have to merge. And it's like, okay, switch them off, come, let's get them both realigned.
And my spirit team says to me, when you feel like you need to go and lie down, do it then. Don't wait for half an hour. Don't wait for an hour, because you need to do it then. Because at the beginning, I used to resist it. I used to want to carry on whatever I was doing. But now I've learned that as soon as I start to feel heady, I need to go and lie down. And also another thing that I've found really helps is to keep grounded, because I wasn't grounded. I'm so much in my head, but we need to keep our physical body grounded to have that connection with the earth, the vessel, the sun, and it's like a flow. But if we're not connected to the earth, then the energy that's in our body can't go anywhere. And I also get when I'm not grounded, I get bloated, because the sacral chakra area is a protection mechanism and wants to protect the body against the solar energies. But as soon as I start to ground, it releases, and I feel better. But I often find myself feeling bloated, and I think, what's the Schumann resonance doing now?
And it's so funny about grounding, because all my boots, they're all coming detached from their soles. The front toe, they were all like flapping like this. Thinking, okay, this is not just one, all of them. I thought, what is this telling me? And people kept saying it's about grounding. Ground yourself. You're getting detached. And people laugh, but there's physical signs out there. It's not just like energetic signs. It's been shown in so many ways. Everything is connected. So sitting outside just with my feet in the earth for 20 minutes, half an hour, drinking the water, hugging trees, being out in nature.
And I think also sitting in the sun helps a lot, because our bodies need the solar rays. But also, if possible, if people can do a little bit every day, it balances out the symptoms, because it means it doesn't all come at once. The upgrading is more gentle. And I find the best way to ground is walk barefoot on the grass.
Very, very much.
Or lie on the grass, hug trees.
Yeah. And it's we're talking about essential oils, and it's patchouli and vetiver. Fantastic oils for that as well, for putting on the bottom of your feet. Very grounding oils.
Yes, and the balance one as well. That's good.
Yes.
And also tree oils, like pine, and they're all great.
Yeah, all the foresty ones. I'm just thinking as well, because away from all the energetic work, you, like me, you're also an artist.
Yes. It's one of my paintings. Yeah. And that's one of my little paintings there, that acrylic. Yes, I've always been an artist. I've always enjoyed. I'm very creative, and it's also it is as you know, it's a solitary kind of hobby activity. And when I was growing up, I used to spend a lot of time alone on my own, painting, drawing. Yeah, it's kept me.
I think a lot of you like cushion covers.
Yes, my cushions. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yes, I paint and I sew by hand. I sew my cushions by hand.
Wow.
And so I've got a little boutique. I've got a big room out the back, and I've got a little boutique. So I sell the odd cushion now and again, which is good.
That link will be put onto this as well for your for your shop.
I've got
they really are beautiful.
Thank you.
And to know that they're even hand stitched rather than machine stitch is also massive, because you're sewing in that energy.
Yes, and also I did Reiki 1 in 97. So whenever I'm sewing, I feel like I'm sewing healing energy into the
Yes.
cushions
Yeah.
as well. To me, hand sewing is therapy. You know,
It
I
is.
find I
It's so
find it
therapeutic.
relaxing. People say to me, "Oh, have you got a machine?" And I say, "No." And they say, "What?" I say, "No, I don't want a machine. I like doing it by hand." I could just sit in the evening and just do an hour and sit outside, and I find it relaxing, and because it's in a way it's meditative
Yes.
because you lose
Yeah, it's just
yourself in
a
it.
repetition. It's like with knitting and with, it's a repetition of it as
I
well.
think that anything that's creative that you lose yourself in is meditation,
Yes. Yeah.
which raises your vibration, which helps with health and everything.
Yeah, because creativity is massive. And it's the same, with my artwork. People have felt the energy from it. I didn't even realise I was doing it. And I've been like in craft fairs and people are putting their hands over it. Wow, the energy of this. Okay. So, yeah, and I think when we're in that energy that is going through, and that you're talking about the sacral chakra, of all that energy that's coming through that with your
Yeah,
creativity.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's an integral part
yeah,
of our being. We really need it.
yeah. So I'm sort of
Yeah.
just setting up now to sort of. I've just decided this year I want to start offering, the retreats this year. So
So
just
tell us a
just
little bit more about those retreats.
well, they're they they come in a big range. So it can just be basic, simple bed and breakfast for people who just want to come and be in the healing energy here. People might just want to come with their own activities. I would say probably three nights minimum to get some kind of benefit. Ideally a week or even 2 weeks. So there's what I call simply B&B, where people can actually, maybe people might want to come and write or read or paint or have their own activity or just rest and recharge. People might be sort of burnt out from work, and they just want some me time, some chill out time. So there's that, and then there's what I call the sort of the spiritual healing retreats, where they get the sort of the basic accommodation, bed and breakfast, and optional meals. And there's, even with meals, there's options for self catering, sharing meals. Whatever people want to do, really, going out, eating out, getting in takeaways. I've got a really good restaurant nearby that does takeaways. And then there's more the sort of the spiritual healing retreats where people can come, and then I've got a list of like activities, extra optional activities that people can do with me, like the past life regression. So say, for example, someone wanted to just come and explore some past lives. In a week we could have, say, at least 2 or 3, maybe 4 past life regression sessions in the mornings, and then sort of free time in the afternoons. And really, dive deep into some past lives. And then there's what I'm calling, the deep dive healing sessions, where people might just want to come with an issue, and we'll try and get to the bottom of it, which may involve some past life work or some visualization. And then there's energy work. I can do chakra clearing, shadow work, inner child work, all the things that I've been doing with myself, all the things that I've learned to do with myself through my self-healing, I can now help other people to do. But also, it's a never-ending journey. So the healing journey never ends. And I'm constantly learning and growing and developing. So even when someone is here, there's an energy exchange. I learn from them. I can, give them some healing. And I think just being here, I've been doing a lot of space clearing. And the space here, I feel, is the energy here is very healing. It's in nature. I'm surrounded by woods and fields, and deer come through the garden. I'm just south of Bergerac, so there are towns around. So there's exploring to do. People could come if they want to. I have had people here who were house hunting. It's a really popular area for house hunting. So people might just want to use here as a base. to go and explore the local area from. So I'm very
You've got
flexible.
the airport as well in Bergerac,
Yes.
haven't you? It's not, yeah.
I'm about 15 minutes drive from Bergerac Airport, which is great. Bergerac's got all year round flights to Stansted, London Stansted, and then from May there's lots of places in the UK that fly to Bergerac. Southampton, Bournemouth.
It's a beautiful
Bristol.
area as well. Bergerac itself is absolutely gorgeous.
Yes, it is, and it's got sort of undulating countryside, and I'm surrounded by vineyards. But what I love is just being in nature. I've never before lived somewhere that's so deep in nature. You know, it's very quiet, very tranquil. Because you sit in the garden. You know, there's lots of things people can do. So people can be as busy or as quiet as they want to be. Upstairs, I've got the guest floor, which has got 2 guest bedrooms and a shared shower room. So either one person could come on their own and just be with me, and that is a real exclusive sort of, you know, retreat. Or 2 people can come together, two friends or family can come together, and then they can share upstairs and have a room each. If there are 2 people coming together, they may want to share a car so they can go out and about. If there's one person on their own who just doesn't want to do very much, they don't need a car, I can arrange, you know, transport, airport transport, and, you know, I can take people out and about a bit, you know, going to local markets and cafes and things like that. So if anybody's interested in coming, what I like to do is just have a sort of a discovery call with them, you know, a video call, and find out what they want to do. I mean, might just say, I just want to do nothing. And that's great. That's fine. I just want to sleep for a week or whatever. But like if they want to do any particular activity, such as horse riding or something, then I can do some research in advance, and I can sort of create a schedule or an agenda for when they're here.
That sounds absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
It really does. Almost like completely tailor-made.
Yes, exactly, tailor-made. And I'm just very flexible. I mean, I live here on my own, so I'm, you know, completely flexible.
Wow. So how can people find you? So about your retreat and about your art.
I've got a list of there's my social media. The best way for people to contact me is send me a WhatsApp message on my number, or an email. People can contact me through my Instagram. There's Victoria's French Retreat, and then that will then lead them into all my other ones. I've also got a Linktree link. So if people go into my Linktree, which is called Victoria's French Retreat, that takes them into lots of different links. I've also got a YouTube channel called Victoria's French Retreat, where I've been posting videos of downloads that I've been getting and messages. I've actually posted on there a video about Béziers, which we were talking about earlier.
Oh.
The siege of Béziers, which was in 1209. So so the Linktree, and I'm also currently writing a basic document about the retreats for this year, which I will add on to the Linktree. So if people go into that, they can see all my contact details and just how to contact me and information about the retreats.
So I'll put all that information, I'll put your Linktree into the description on this YouTube.
Thank you.
So at the end of every podcast, I always ask people 3 questions.
Okay.
So the first is, what advice would you give people who's going through this massive transformation that we're going through at the minute, feeling a bit like, what's going on?
Okay, well, first of all, don't think you're going mad, because you're not. You're ascending.
Advice?
One of the most important things I've discovered is to listen to your intuition, but to have faith and trust in your intuition, and, you know, follow it. Because your intuition is your soul talking to you, and I've found from experience that if I've ignored my intuition, things haven't gone well, you know. So try and, if you can, build up connection with your own guides, your own connection with your higher self. That is very powerful, because we're not here to live this life alone. We're not meant to do everything on our own. We have angels and guides who are very powerful beings who want to help us. So to develop a connection with your spirit team is important. With angels, they like to be asked, because as humans we have free will. Our spiritual beings and angels don't want to interfere with our free will, so we have to ask them for help. And when we ask them, they think, great, let's get on this, let's get in here. And meditation is very helpful, because if you can meditate even 15 minutes a day, it helps you connect inside. It helps you connect with your guides. It helps to raise your vibration, helps calm you down. It has a physiological effect on the body. And it's also, I've found, certainly for me, it revives me. It gives me energy. Meditation gives me energy.
Very, very much.
So I think, and also seek help if you need it. You know, if you're struggling and you don't know what to do, or you're really feeling out of balance, seek help.
Yeah.
You know, go to someone and talk.
Yeah.
Talk
And as
to
you said,
people.
don't think you're going mad, because so many people are going through it. And Victoria's talking about like the ascension symptoms and kind of like feeling alone and all that type of thing. You know, talk to other people like us, you know, who are already been on that journey, and it's okay. It's all part of it. So the other one is, did you have, or what was your dream when you were young?
In terms of profession, I either wanted to be an artist or a chef, which both I was talked out of because they wouldn't earn me enough money, and you have to be the best of the best. So put that aside. But I think the dream I always had in my heart was to sort of meet my prince, be the princess, and sort of live happily ever after. And I'm still to find that relationship. I haven't found it yet, and I know it will come at some point. So just to be happy, I think to find a true deep love.
Yes.
I think I'm here to bring love, share love, talk about love, bring in the love vibration, and I want to discover that within a relationship, which I haven't found yet, because I've had to find it within myself first.
Yes.
And that's what
conscious relationship.
That's what this sort of isolation period for me has been about. It's about, I had to find myself first. In all my previous relationships, I always prioritized my partner, because that's what I was taught to do. You know, the man is the most important. But what I've realized is that actually I'm the most important person in my life.
Yes.
And when you find self-love, self-worth, self-value, that's when you then become a whole person within yourself. That's when you're in a place where you can then find the right partner.
Totally.
So
yes, we're not expecting that the partner kind of like to as I like to fill our own bucket. We have to find ourselves, be happy with ourselves, and only then will that person be a true match, and not somebody that we're actually dependent on.
And I thank all my previous partners for the lessons that I've learned through relationships. You know, I've forgiven everyone, I've forgiven everything, and it was all part. Every relationship I've had was part of my path, in order to teach me something about myself, in order to show me something. And what they've taught me is to see my own self-worth, my own self-value, and to find self-love.
Totally. Yeah, and I think there's so much we can work on by ourselves, but there's so much more that we work on through those relationships, and the often the most toxic ones are the ones that create the biggest lessons, and the ones we're almost the most thankful for.
Yes.
And so the third question, and final one, is a surprising fact about you.
Well, I'm on the earth, but not of the earth. I'm sure you understand that. So I'm a starseed light worker. So a starseed is a soul whose soul origin is not from earth. So another thing that I've been discovering is about my cosmic origin. So I've been learning that my soul has my soul originally is from Andromeda, which is a neighbouring galaxy, and I found that out through a soul reading which I had back with a lady here about 2 years ago. I think that's why I've always felt different when I was growing up. I never really felt I belonged anywhere on Earth. So I know I've got lots of cosmic connections. I have a cosmic family, a star family. I've lived in I've had spent time in the Pleiades, Sirius, Arcturus, and I've started connecting with my cosmic family, my star guides, and that's another part of my journey, which is a whole new story really. But it's been a wonderful sort of discovery to looking into all that, and it's helped me understand why I'm here. I mean, I've come at this time to help with the ascension process because I've done it in other planets, in other dimensions, at other times. I've done all this before, but to actually do it on Earth is very special because Earth.
It is. It's like we're told. We're not learning. We're remembering. We're bringing the tools that we learn on the galaxy, the universes, and using them here.
Yes, and Earth is going to be the centre of the new galaxy, the new universe. The Earth is a very important planet and is being observed by so many cosmic realms and beings and spaceships. There's so many spaceships out there which are cloaked, but they're observing and they're helping.
Yes.
We wouldn't be where we are today on Earth if it wasn't for cosmic help. So, the cosmic help.
Totally. Again, we're not alone.
No. So that's where I say I'm ground crew. I'm cosmic, but I'm in a physical body. I'm boots on the ground. I'm not the only one. There are millions of starseeds on the planet. We're a big. I'm sure you are one as well. But we are a big team. We are a big group, and we came in. There was I don't know if you heard of Dolores Cannon.
Yes.
Dolores Cannon. She used to channel. She talked about the 3 waves of starseeds, and in 1945, just after the atomic explosion in Japan, which damaged the Earth's the fabric of the universe, and seriously damaged Earth. Our cosmic helpers just saw that if nothing happened, Earth was going to destroy itself. So Gaia, Earth, sent out a call for help into the cosmos, which brought in waves of starseeds. And Dolores Cannon writes about the 3 waves of volunteers. I've got the book, a book she wrote. And there's now a 4th wave coming in. So even babies being born today, a lot of them are starseeds coming in to help. And I'm in the first.
Already.
Sorry.
You can see that already. The way the children are coming through, that they're so much more awake. It took us longer, but they're it's like the old indigos and the crystallines and the rainbow children.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so I'm a blue-ray starseed indigo of the first wave. I think the first wave started coming in like the 50s and 60s, and then there's like the second wave was like the 70s and 80s, and then the third wave was like the 90s, 2000s, and then babies today. I've met babies today, and you can see their old souls, their consciousness is very high. You know, I can spot them straight away. And in fact, I feel that in the future I would like to, and I will work with starseed children in workshops in order to help them understand who they are and to encourage them, teach them.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like the children nowadays. There's a whole other podcast. We go on for hours with this.
Yeah.
But you know that they're in a thing that's actually breaking down how to fit in. You know, there's beings that are already awake, they're already advanced, of trying to fit into it to an archaic, like the education system, all that, how it's all breaking down. And my goodness, you know, we could go on for hours on this.
Oh yeah. Yes.
So
definitely.
we'll stop there because we're almost up to an hour.
Okay.
It's been absolutely fabulous, Victoria, talking to you. There's just so much we can talk about.
Yeah, there is. We could talk forever.
Absolutely wonderful to have you on.
Thank you for inviting me.
There's a lot. So, yeah, thank you. And thank you for being on. It's been absolutely wonderful. I know that me and Victoria are going to be connecting a lot more.
Yes.
Off screen as well as on screen as well.
Yes. And also, we don't live that far apart, which is interesting. We're probably only about 2-3 hours apart by car.
Yeah.
We'll come and we can visit each other.
Either. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much, Victoria, and thank you everybody as well for listening on here. And yeah, all links below on how to connect with Victoria will be in the description.
Thank you
very much. And just down the line, Victoria, we'll have a chat afterwards. Yeah. Take care, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you found inspiration, tools, and a touch of magic to support your journey. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who might need it. And if you'd like to dive deeper, visit my website at nikkihoward.com, where you can learn about my upcoming membership, the Enchanter Sanctuary, a community for like-minded souls just like you, full of tools, creativity, and guidance to help you clear the path back to your true self. Until next time, take care of yourself, trust your path, and remember you are never alone on this journey.